Vishnupad Paramahams Parivrajacharya Ashtodasad Srimad Shila Abhaya Charnavrind Bhaktivedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anant Kori Vaishnavrind Ki Jai Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So today we'll be reading from third canto entitled The Status Quo. Chapter 25, The Glories of Devotional Service. We're doing text number 18, right? Not 17. 18, text number 18. So we'll all do Mangal Charan. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahiyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sujivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vangsha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yad Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Text 18. Jnana Vairagya Yuktena Bhakti Yukte yuktena chatmana paripashyatyaudasinam prakritim chahatau jnana vairaga yuktena bhakti yuktena chatmana paripashyatyaudasinam prakritim chahatau jasam. Vaishnavas. Jnana vairagya yuktena bhakti yuktena chatmana paripashyatyaudasinam prakritim chahatau jasam. Jnana vairagya yuktena bhakti yuktena chatmana paripashyatyaudasinam prakritim chahatau jasam. Jnana vairagya yuktena bhakti yuktena chatmana paripashyatyaudasinam prakritim chahatau jasam. Jnana vairagya yuktena bhakti yuktena chatmana paripashyatyaudasinam prakritim chahatau jasam. Word for word. Jnana, knowledge. Vairagya, renunciation. Yuktena, equipped with. Bhakti, devotional service. Yuktena, equipped with. Cha, and Atmana, by the mind. Paripashyati, one sees. Udasinam, indifferent. Prakritim, material existence. Cha, and Hatau jasam, reduced in strength. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Channavan Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. In that position of self-realization, by practice of knowledge and renunciation, in devotional service, one sees everything in the right perspective. He becomes indifferent to material existence, and the material influence acts less powerfully upon him. Purport. As the contamination of the germs of a particular disease can influence a weaker person, similarly, the influence of material nature or illusory energy can act on a weaker or conditioned soul, but not on the liberated soul. Self-realization is the position of the liberated state. One understands his constitutional position by knowledge and vairagya, renunciation. Without knowledge, one cannot have realization. The realization that one is the infinitesimal part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit makes him unattached to material conditional life. That is the beginning of devotional service. Unless one is liberated from material contamination, one cannot engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. In this verse, therefore, it is stated, Jnana Vairagya Yuktena. When one is in full knowledge of one's constitutional position and is in the renounced order of life, detached from material attractions, then by pure devotional service, Bhakti yuktena, he can engage himself as a loving servant of the Lord. Paripashyati means that he can see everything in its right perspective. Then the influence of material nature becomes almost nil. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Brahma bhuta rasannatma. When one is self-realized, he becomes happy and free from the influence of material nature. And at that time, he is freed from lamentation and hankering. The Lord states that position as mad bhaktim labate param, the real state of beginning devotional service. Similarly, it is confirmed in the Narada Pancharatra that when the senses are purified, they can then be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. One who is attached to material contamination cannot be a devotee. Heartbroken. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Very beautiful purport. So here we have Kapila Muni, who is now describing to his mother Sankhya philosophy. And he is describing this Sankhya philosophy in great ecstasy. Right? It is explained here that Kapila Muni was satisfied inside. He did not tell externally, Devhuti, very good question, Devhuti, I'm in great ecstasy. Right? Internally he was satisfied. The same satisfaction Krishna got when Arjuna asked him the question, I don't know what to do. Right? Same enthusiasm, right? So now Krishna's enthusiasm comes out in many ways. Usually when you are happy, you try to say nice things. But here Krishna is saying, give up everything. What is this? He's telling a woman to give up everything. You tell a man, maybe that's acceptable. Right? You're like, kid. I sometimes tell my son, give up everything. What's the point? Right? But then you're telling a woman, I have a daughter. I can't tell her that. She's like, she's very young. She's 2 years old. Already she's saying, mine, 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 mine. Already possession is there. That construct. So, he's telling a woman, give up everything. What is this? So, somebody may say, this is very harsh. Right? This is very harsh words. But Krishna applies his principle of yoga, Satyam, Priyam and Hitam. Krishna knows how to apply that. When he's telling us to apply it, he knows how to apply it. So when he's telling Arjuna, Asochan anvasochastvam pragnavadam cha bhashase gata suma gata nanu sochitam pandita. He's very angry when he's saying that. Now it may feel like, oh, Krishna is quite rude to Arjuna. Very rude. But actually that is Krishna's love. So when there is a loving relationship, even harsh words are taken lovingly. Are you understanding? When there is a loving relationship, hard words are taken lovingly. When there is a hard relationship, loving words are taken harshly. Are you noticing how the principle works? Right? Now you are saying, oh, I love Gopinath, and then Gopinath gives you a nice whack. Like my back has been hurting since yesterday. I picked the kid up the wrong way. Right? So now that whack hurts, and you're thinking, what did I do? What did I do to deserve this? I'm chanting my rounds. Am I not the greatest devotee on planet Earth? The mind, presents all of these beautiful, presentations. But the reality is that's not the case. So sometimes one has to realize that this is the love of Krishna. But the question is, how do you recognize that love? Right? So here we can see, A is the relationship is very sweet. There is sweetness in the relationship. Right? This is Devahuti and Kapila. Right? So, father and son. Sorry, I apologize. Mother and son, my mistake. Mother and son. When we see Krishna and Arjuna, what do we see? We see friends. So very close relationship. Yes? So now in this close relationship, you can be strong, you can be harsh. But the relationship has to be close. Are you noticing? This is very nice, right? When we see, Veda Vyas is writing Mahabharata. So much emotion in Mahabharata, right? But he's writing it because it's his family he's writing about. He's writing about his family. He didn't write that my son Dhritarashtra did this, but it's his son. Pandu is his son. Vidura is his son. He's writing about his children. Familiar. So there's so much emotion in Mahabharata, right? Sometimes you read, like my son was reading, he was feeling very bad. Look what they did to Abhimanyu. And he's reading a cartoon, like the Amar Chitra Katha or Mahabharata. He's reading that and he's feeling very bad what they did to Abhimanyu. So imagine when you're reading the real words, you feel very emotional. You think, this is so terrible. Now, you read that scene of Mahabharata where, that big gambling match takes place. It gets to such a crescendo that when the Pandavas take vow and when Bhima stands up and says, I will kill the 100 you feel, yeah. You feel, yes, if you were there, you would have done something. You calm down first. First calm down. But you feel, there's so much familial relationship so that these harshness can be adjusted. But if you take them out of context, imagine someone opens up a Twitter feed. Yeah, there's a Twitter line, right? It's out of context, right? A Twitter feed comes out and says, Draupadi harassed. You'll immediately, oh no, this is wrong, this is it. So you feel very agitated. Now, but when you're reading in context of Mahabharata, you're thinking, okay, this happened, but then, now, the husbands, sorry, not brothers, the husbands have taken vows, so now things will be rectified, you see? So you are in the mood, so you are able to understand the full context and the full intent of the conversation. Right? So usually when you listen, sometimes you may get something that, oh, this devotee is not good or that devotee is not good. You may get that. Sometimes you may hear. Sometimes you may even hear. You may be sitting in a crowd and you may be passively, hearing, not active. You're not actively participating. You're just eating your, prasadam plate in one corner. You're not, I am, what is that? Completely detached, your vairagya, you're sitting and eating. And then you hear something. Oh, that devotee slapped him. You're thinking, which devotee slapped? And now you're eating, but the ear is now here. Right? The ear has been taken away. Once the ear goes, everything goes. The ear goes, the ear goes. Everything goes. Now you're like eating, but now the ear is, taking in the vibrations. There's vibrations, right? Now you're taking in the vibration. You're eating prasadam. Somebody is saying something. You're like, okay. And now you're getting more information. Now you are not even involved in this conversation. But already you have made up your mind. Things have been destroyed. Everybody's terrible. Material world is this. What am I doing here? Like the mind immediately presents all of these obstacles, right? So one has to be careful about what they are listening. So this satyam, priyam, hitam, right? This construct. When the relationship is very close, right, then the satyam can take a higher precedence. Right? If the relationship is very close. Because why can satyam take such a high precedence? Because the priyam is extremely high. Yes, satyam, priyam and hitam. Right? So if priyam is extremely high, if there's a loving relationship, then the truth can be told the way it is. You don't need to fluff around. No need to fluff around. Typically if you go to a shop or if you go to a consultant, the consultant spends the first 5 minutes knowing you. What did you do? How are your kids? How is everything? This is all to build up the priyam. So then when they tell you that here is the bill, you don't get a shock. You understanding why this is done? So this, you have to understand how this priyam is getting built so then satyam can be told. Right? So this happens. Like even you will notice in Mahabharata when Sanjaya comes as a peacekeeper. Right? Sanjaya comes as a peacekeeper. He comes to the arena. The peace talks went for 1 year. After the exile finished, 1 year the peace talks went between back and forth two parties. Like, you do this, no, you do this. There's a lot of, you give me this, a lot of conversation. Sanjaya comes, it's very nicely explained that Sanjaya is a Shudra, yeah? He's Shudra. But he's received because he's ambassador of the king. Right? So he's received very nicely, he's taken well care. They're asking Sanjaya, how is Dhritarashtra, how is Duryodhan, how is Gandhari? Like proper, you're building up the rapport, you're building up the priyam, Right? You're building it up. And then you're building it up to such a point that now the satyam can be told. That my dear Pandavas, you please give up this idea of taking the kingdom. You're telling Kshatriyas, a Shudra is telling Kshatriyas, you must give up the kingdom. Imagine walking up to Bhima and telling him this. He crush you, man. What is he, 18 feet tall or something? He was a big guy. He was very tall. he was 18 feet, a big fellow, very tall guy. Right? You get, Bhima ki rasoi, they show that big area where he cooks. So it's huge. Big guy, very big personality, like Bhima. So the idea being that, but Sanjaya is able to convey this message. He's able to say this. He's able to share this. Why? Because the Priyam has been set up. That emotional contact is there. There is love. Now between Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya, because they have been working so long, the relationship is so long, it is very direct. What happened to my children? They died. They have been killed. Sanjaya runs back to Dhritarashtra and he says, Bhishma has died. He's screaming. And Dhritarashtra is completely distraught. He's just fallen apart. His heart is broken. That Bhishma has died. Because Bhishma, big personality, right? He was considered, the one who could hold and give victory to Duryodhana. So these things happen. In this, there is no, how is your brother? How is your sister? Nothing. Just direct. Because there's relationship. It is ongoing. So yes, you can be direct. You can be direct, right? So now here, we see because there is an ongoing loving relationship, Kapila Muni is presenting some hard positions. From our perspective, Srila Prabhupada writes, one who is attached to material contamination cannot be a devotee. Might as well go punch your ticket out. Off to the pub. No, this is not the point. Here, because there is loving relationship, Srila Prabhupada is writing so nicely. Because see, this one line can be taken out of context, right? You put this into it, and you can give up Krishna consciousness. No, this is loving relationship. It's being built up. Now Srila Prabhupada is presenting the facts. And Krishna does this as well, by the way. Krishna builds up Bhagavad Gita all the way till chapter 12. He now, first 6 chapter he tells the gradations. Then the middle 6 chapter he tells how to be a pure devotee. Now the last chapters he is quite direct. This is actually Arjuna, the jiva is responsible for all the good and bad things that happen to him. Actually, this is the fact. Right? Actually, this is the fact. From chapter 13 onwards, he's quite direct. Krishna says, the jiva is at fault. But before he's saying, sometimes situation is like this, sometimes no, but now direct. Actually, the jiva is at fault. It's your problem. You're the one at fault. Right? So this thing starts happening. So here, Srila Prabhupada is, when we are reading his purpose, we should see there is great love, and then there is sometimes Srila Prabhupada just saying something for a fact. Right? This is what it is. Right? And why it is good to know these facts? It makes us realize our position. So then when we are sitting in front of Gopinath saying, why I got hurt, why I got slapped, why I got done this, you know your position. We know our position. Okay, our position is one who is attached to the material manifestation. I am really attached to this material manifestation. Right? We are attached to small things in this material manifestation. You are all sitting on a mat. Suddenly from behind someone starts pulling you on mat. You'll be like, hey, why are you pulling my mat? It's not your mat. It's Gopinath's mat. But right now, our possession. Why are you pulling my thing? Imagine, they do this, sometimes when they distribute prasadam, they'll tell you that this is your plate. And then they'll put rice and they'll give it to them. So you don't hold the plate. You're not holding the plate, right? The plate is being held by the servers. Server will put rice, give to the next person. He's putting dal. But already there is now attachment to that plate. And I don't know if you feel this, right? I am observing where that plate is going. Oh, he didn't put enough dal. You see, mind is amazing. You'll be amazed at how the possession that we take. Oh, he's putting. And then what happens? Suddenly the person in front takes the plate. You're like, hey? You feel like you've been robbed. You want to make a complaint to the NSW police. What is this? Oh, daylight robbery. No? So this is possession. When we are saying possession, this is what we are meaning. Really. We are hardcore when it comes to possession. And I notice this in myself a lot. Someone's putting, I'm like, oh, hey, he took my plate. So I feel so bad. He took my plate. And then you're now observing the next plate. Is that my plate or this is this person? Where is my plate? You get perturbed. You get very perturbed in the mind. So these things happen. So now, first thing is Kapila Muni saying, Jnana Vairagya Yuktena. You have to take knowledge, you have to take Vairagya. Right? This has to happen. And of course, he is using the term Yuktena. There is Mukta and then there is Yukta. Okay? There is mukta and then there is yukta. Mukta means to completely give up, like step away from that place. That is now mukta. Right? You are completely out of it. Now yukta, right, is in when you are now engaging, you are now yukta. You are engaging but not in an attached way. You are still engaged. So, when you are engaged, you are engaged. Now when you are yukta, you are engaged, but you are engaged in a manner that you are not attached to what is going around. You are not attached to it. Right? You are sitting, you're thinking, oh, blue carpet, what a beautiful color this blue mat is. I will sit on blue mat today. You put the mat down, you look at Gopinath, you're doing like this, you stand up, one kid has taken the mat. Okay. It's not yours. No problem. Get the grey mat. Oh, grey, I didn't like grey color. No problem. Now you have the grey mat. Deal with it. The kids, they fight over the colors of the mats. They are extremely attached. And then when they don't get the mat, because kids are fighting, right? One kid is taking one mat, one kid is taking one mat. Then immediately mukta. Come to the parent like, okay, no problem. It's just a mat. Relax, just go out. Now immediately mukta. I'm not interested in the mat. The problem with this is, if we are continuously saying that I will walk away from the position, I will walk away from the position, I will walk away from the position, you will walk back into that position. And this is what Krishna is trying to explain to Arjuna. You are trying to walk away from this position, you are trying to walk away. You will walk back into another position where you will end up fighting. That is a nice story. My dad was telling this, that Shah Jahan, he built Taj Mahal. Right? The guy, Shah Jahan, he built Taj Mahal. Then, of course, he had a crazy son, Aurangzeb, like real nutcase job, right? He kills his brother, like extreme. I mean, he destroys temples and all. He's a real nutcase. He kills his own brothers, locks up his father. So now, and then he blinds his father, I think, right? I think one eye or something. He does something quite bad to his father. Now his father is thinking, okay, old age, stuck in a jail, half blinded. He says, okay, can you send me someone, at least I can study Quran. Talk, like discuss. He's sitting in the jail doing nothing, right? So Aurangzeb is like, okay, yeah, why not? So he sends some kids, the ones who study and all, he sends them. And then Shah Jahan is knowledgeable. The kings, for all their weirdness, they had knowledge. It's not like they were completely dumb. So he's teaching them, okay, this word means this. And then he's asking the kids, repeat. And kid is not repeating, then with a bamboo stick he's hitting. He was hitting the kids. Why? Why he's hitting? Even in a position where he's blinded, he's in a jail, even in such a contemporary position, he doesn't lose his nature of possession. Oh, you're not doing, I'm king, right? I king, they start hitting. So you may walk out of a situation either forcefully or by your own desire. Either or. But then you're going to walk back into another situation. So that's why mukti is a good thing. We're not saying it's not a good thing. It's a good thing, but it should be done with association of devotees. Then it has value. Because if it is done outside of association of devotees, you are going to get into another situation which is not palatable. It's not palatable, right? So the term instead is used is yukta. Instead of being a mukta, you be a yukta. So now what you are doing is you're like, okay, I am now in this situation. Right? I did not play my chess moves to come into, now you are in this situation. You open your eyes and your queen is stuck. Your queen's about to be given up in the chess move, right? You're like, okay, now this is the situation. You see? So then what does a chess player do? Okay, if I'm losing, I will lose in the best position. Right? People who play chess, they do like that. If I'm going to lose my piece, I will lose it in such a way that I'll either eat your piece or I will lose it in such a place that in another 2-3 moves, you will lose your piece also. Like, in that way, like they build it up. So yukta is like that. So now I'm in this situation. So I'm in this situation. How can I apply Krishna consciousness? Now for that, we need jnana and vairagya. For that. Sometimes you may be thinking, why do I need to read Bhagavad Gita? Why do I need to read Bhagavatam? I'm simply pure devotee of Krishna, right? I'll just chant my rounds and I'm done, right? I'll chant, I'll eat prasadam. No, but for this situation, to be a yukta, you need jnana. You need jnana. Without that, it's not going to function. Right? Why? Because you haven't left the position. See, one is you leave, right? You go, the Kardama Muni has left. Yeah? Kardama Muni has left. So he's taking the path of mukti. So the Paramatma realization. He's taking that path. Right? And that's going to be a long path. Right? It's a long path. Kapila Muni is asking Devahuti, you take the yukta position. Your husband has taken the mukta position. You take the yukta position. Are you seeing how it is working? Very nice, right? Very nice. Krishna is presenting. Now, idea is who's better, who's not better. We may always contemplate that, right? In the two, and Kapila Muni will describe this very nicely, that the yukta position is best, but with bhakti. Without bhakti, even the yukta position won't last long. It won't last long. You may decide that, okay, I am renounced, but I will take a yukta position. I have jnana, I have vairagya, I am taking the position of yukta. It will not last. It will not last. This material world drags us in. Material world is extraordinary. And when I'm using the word dragging in, you may be thinking in your mind, there's a big whirlpool and the guy is going around the whirlpool with his hand like that, he's getting dragged in. Don't be so melodramatic. In small things, it will drag us in. Don't get melodramatic. Material world is extraordinary. In small things, it will drag us in. Small things. You hit your left toe. You hit the left toe. Now the toe is bleeding. Left toe. Left toe. You don't even... What's a toe? When was the last time you looked at your toes? You look at Gopinath's toes. That's different. But your own toe, who looks at it? Who even realizes you have toes? Unless sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I have something. Right? It's the left toe. But now that one toe gets an infection. Now that infection is there, now you're not able to put your foot. Now you're not able to put your foot, okay, now you have to go to doctor. Now doctor says, okay, this looks like a problem, we're going to have to pull your nail out. You know how big a nail is? Toe? This small. But when that nail goes, blood flows, now you can't even, you have to basically lie down now for 3-4 days. Something so small, right? Now you are stuck. Now you're stuck in this position. You don't have bhakti. You're just jnana and vairagya. That's all you got. You ain't got no bhakti, right? You're jnana, vairagya, you're thinking, oh, so now the question is, you need jnana. Are you understanding? You need jnana. When we say jnana and vairagya, please don't think jnana is static. Jnana is not static. Just want to make this point, right? Jnana is ever expanding and vairagya therefore becomes ever expanding. Yep. You see today, what do people do when they lie down? Mobile phone. Yes? And you're brahmacharis, you don't know. I know. Right? The moment you lie down, you got your mobile phone on you. Put your thumbprint, it opens up. Just for you. Not for anyone else. Only your thumbprint can open it up. You put it, or face ID. And nowadays they even have face ID. Only your face, this mukhar vrind, only this can open it up. Oh. See? Oh, now this is just for you. Now you will take jnana. You will take jnana from the phone. Okay, YouTube videos, WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, God knows what all. But you will take because it is yours. And it will keep coming. It will keep coming. It will keep coming. Do you know? It is extraordinary for you to consider this, right? 7 billion people in this world. Every day, 1 petabyte of data is being produced. Only 7 billion people. Out of that, people with actual mobile, smartphones that can create data is probably about 500 million or thereabouts, in that range. I'm just giving a range. I'm not saying that's the exact number. In that range. So much data is being produced. Right? Because that's life. You have some data. Today I woke up, my hand was hurting. 1 data point. You woke up, I woke up, everything was beautiful. You say you woke up, I saw a kookaburra outside. You woke up, I saw a cockatoo outside. You woke up, I saw a dog chasing a man. So much information. Isn't it? So much information. And that is just one second of your life. Now imagine you are living 24 hours. How much information is being produced? How much jnana is being produced? Sometimes you may be doing devotee care. And when you hear, you're like, man, that's a lot of information. That's a lot of that's more than I bargained for, right? It happens sometimes. If something you're listening, you're like, okay, this has gone quite long. But it happens sometimes. So much information. And you're thinking, wow. And this information, sometimes you feel burdened. And what is information? Me telling words to you. But then you become burdened by those words. You feel anxious. So jnana exists. It is ever expanding. Right? So vairagya must also ever expand. Are you getting? I saw a kookaburra. Not my kookaburra. My hand's hurting. Not really my hand. You see? So vairagya needs to continuously increase. Otherwise, we will be stuck. Believe me, we will be stuck. Right? Now, the way to solve this problem, right? So we've just done first line, jnana vairagya yuktena. The way to solve this problem is bhakti yuktena chatmana. That's how you solve this issue. Because otherwise, you're thinking, I'm going to get more knowledge. I'm going to have to become more renunciate. It's extremely hard. Somewhere in this process of jnana vairagya, your vairagya will fall. Right? We see, great sages. Great sages. We're not talking, small timers. Great sages have fallen. Great sages have fallen. Right? Maybe sages is, we may be thinking, Satya Yuga. Even today, modern time, great Maharajas may fall. Right? It is said, up till bhava stage, you can fall down. Right? And when we're saying bhava, we are on the 8th stage of devotional service. From there, one can fall down. So, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all, right? Jada Bharata, he has fallen down. He recognizes his fallen down state. He recognizes it. So, he acts crazy. You've fallen down so many times, you become crazy. Right? So, these things happen because we are thinking our vairagya can equate our jnana. Look at Bharat Maharaj. He found one deer. And it's finished. It's amazing, isn't it? His vairagya is finished. Wow. So, bhakti yuktena chatmana. Bhakti yuktena chatmana. Otherwise, game over, mate. It's game over, right? So, that is why Krishna, as Gaudiyas, we laugh at people who are like, I will, take Brahmeti realization. I'll take Paramatmetmi realization. Like, that's a very hard process. You can take it. It's an extremely hard process. Instead, you take Bhagwaniti process. That is more simple. That is more direct. You're talking to a person. You may fight with the person. You may feel bad and all. But at least you are with the person. You are with a person. So it's a bit more easier to deal with. Right? You are with a person. So it's more easy. Right? So bhakti yuktena chatmana. And very nice. Srila Prabhupada translates the word atmana here as the mind. That's key, isn't it? He translates it as the mind. Srila Prabhupada explains nicely, right? That Atma, it can be taken as the gross body, which 99% of the people use. Then those who are doing some yoga processes, they understand Atma as the mind. And then those who really get into it. And this is only for Paramatma realization and Bhagwan realization. Only at that level will they understand that it's actually the soul. But here Srila Prabhupada takes it at the level of the mind. Why? Because bhakti yuktena is to help the mind. The process of bhakti, its main purpose is to help the mind. That is its real role. You help the mind, you pacify the mind. And once the mind is pacified, eventually the soul will get pacified. Eventually. Right? The end goal of bhakti, and this is when you hit prema. At this point you have hit prema. Bhava, where does bhava come from? Where does bhava come from? Like it comes from the soul, but how does it manifest? How does bhava manifest? Still through the mind. It is still manifest through the mind. Manifestation, I'm talking about how it manifests, how you feel. Right? It's all coming through the mind. Whereas at prema, then mind gone. It's no longer functioning. Right? It's all about the soul. But so the idea here being that bhakti yuktena process, this process of bhakti, as it is grading itself, as you're stepping and you're grading yourself, right? The idea is that it is the mind that needs to be pacified. Right? If the mind is not pacified, we will not function in this material manifestation. It's very hard. Material world is extraordinary. Within this one room, lot of things can happen. Lots of things can happen. In Bombay, people stay, like 6 people stay in a room which is maybe the size between these 2 columns. That big room. People stay. Lots of things happen in that one room. And this earth is filled with many rooms. You know that story? He tells Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Tamal comes here. He says, look at this, universal form. See? Yes. So many planets. So beautifully Srila Prabhupada goes. Now, so many planets, and in this planet there is this one earth, and in this earth there are so many countries. In this country there is one country, United States. And in this country there are so many states. In this state there is one, I think it was California, I don't remember now, but in California. And then in this California there are so many suburbs. In this suburb there is this one suburb. In this suburb there are so many buildings. And in this all buildings there is this one building. In this building there are so many rooms, and in all these rooms there is this one room. And in this one room, one Tamal is sitting and thinking, I am the greatest. When you think about it, you're like, actually I do, but maybe I'm not that great. I do, but maybe I'm not that great. Right? In your mind you must be thinking, white horse, and you're sitting on it. You are the savior. Cool down, right? My dad always tells me, touch the floor. I touch the floor. He said, now relax. You're still on Kali Yuga. It's Kali Yuga. Relax. You are here. So this idea is that so much knowledge is there. So much knowledge. That much vairagya we need to gain. It's extremely hard. So therefore, by bhakti yuktena, the mind can be adjusted. So then now when you are eating prasadam, and someone says, oh, this devotee slapped someone. You're like, oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. Now, it depends what's your role also. If you're a leader, then you have a different reaction. One has to be careful about his role. I'm talking about where you're just a simple devotee. You're not, you don't have a level of influence. I'm talking about that situation. If you have a level of influence, that changes the way you behave and the way you interact, right? But I'm talking about a scenario where you don't have level of influence. So you're sitting and say, okay, all right. Something must have happened. You don't necessarily know what has happened, right? So you're just continuously eating your prasadam and you're thinking, oh Krishna, sometimes, material manifestation can be very tough. But then through the process of bhakti, eventually we will leave this material world, so all these problems will go away. There is problem. Nobody is denying that. There is a real issue in this material manifest. But through the process of bhakti, eventually one will get out of this material world, and all issues will be resolved. Right? One time a boy is asking his guru, right? Guru, material world is very hard to give up. Very hard to give up. Very hard. Guru's like, okay. Second day, same thing. Very hard to give up. Okay. Guru is doing, he's doing his part. He's explaining things. Still the disciple is saying, no, but Guru is very hard. Okay. The 4th day, a boy comes to listen to his guru, and he sees guru is holding the tree. He says, and the tree is prickly tree, so it is hurting the guru. And guru's like, So the disciple is saying, Guru, what happened? He says, this tree is hurting me. He says, Guru, leave the tree. What is wrong with you? Leave the tree. Then the guru leaves and says, then why are you not leaving this material manifestation? Why are you continuously crying about it? So that is when we are eating that prashad, we are realizing, okay, these things can happen. So, okay, one has to be careful, one has to, think differently. So this is bhakti yuktena chatmana. It allows the mind to be pacified. Right? And of course, when we are saying mind, we're not telling that mind is such a great demon. No, the idea is that the mind is sattva gun. The mind is sattva gun. It is a product of sattva guna. So if it is pacified, it is good for us. Because it has come out of mode of goodness. It is good for us if it is pacified. Right? So bhakti yuktena chatmana. Paripashyatya udasinam. So it is here it is saying that at this point one can become indifferent. Now udasina also means to be sad. Udasa, right? You're sad. But here udasinam, right, can also be seen from your vision. Right? Your darshana, how you are seeing. Udasinam also means when you're indifferent to what you're seeing. Right? You're indifferent. Okay. So now you become indifferent. At this point that indifference arises. That at this point it is indifferent, right? Prakritim cha hataujasam. And a beautiful word, right? Hataujasam. Ojasa means prowess. Hata means to kill. Hatau jasam. To stop the prowess of material manifestation. Prakritim cha hatau jasam. What a beautiful word, right? Sanskrit is so beautiful, right? Just completely destroy. Hatau jasam. Just destroy this Prakriti. So this is the presentation by Kapila Muni. Sorry, time is up, so I can't do the last two parts. But you get the general idea that that through the nature, one can become indifferent. And through that indifference, right? Once that indifference comes, then material nature, its influence kind of dies out. It is not that practical. The influence isn't that practical, right? So yeah, we will end here. Devotees want to share something? Yes, Prabhu. No. Yeah, Krishna says that when it comes to material thing, I am equal to all. So if Krishna is equal to all, and Durga does by the desire of Krishna, so then she's equal to all. So she, like, you don't think that if a devotee is, why devotee is getting cancer, why this is happening. Equal. That's not going to change. That part is not going to change. What we are talking about here when we are saying this prakritim cha hataujasam is that its influence on us, the influence it has, it's not going to change, right? Devahuti's husband has left her. It hasn't. It's not by this discussion with Kapila Muni, Kardam Muni walked back in and said, hey, let's live a good life. No, he's gone. He has gone. Her son will also go. Are you understanding? She will be left alone. None of that is changing. And it's painful. For all the love and desire we have, a devotee is alone, the devotee is alone. Alone devotee hurts, right? It hurts. When you are alone, it hurts. Right? So these things don't change. But we're talking about the influence that it will have on us. That changes. That is the part we are discussing. Devotees, anything else? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. True. No, being active is mode of goodness. Trying to get a result is mode of passion. So Kshatriya wants result. Brahmana is always active. Brahmana is active, Kshatriya wants result. So then Kshatriya is told to sit in yagya to gain, what is that thing called? Patience. Otherwise, by default, they are very aggressive. So you're talking aggression, right? Aggression is for result. Activity is Brahmana. So if someone is active, he's actually Brahmanical. If somebody is interested in result, then he's Kshatriya. So administrative class will always be Kshatriya. But Brahmanical but Kshatriya. So you have to be Kshatriya when you are administration. You cannot like, oh no, I don't want result. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't want result? You're administrator, you need result. So you need result. So you have to be Kshatriya. You cannot avoid that. Now, so therefore that may come out as aggression, right? You might have met devotees, right? Like when we go to India, we see devotees with big temples. They're quite aggressive, if you look at it from one sense. But they are actually Kshatriyas. So then we have to recognize that immediately as well. Yeah? Oh yeah, of course we are. So Sambandh Abhideya Prayojana is result. So you are right. So, but our result, the result we're trying to get is Krishna. So we are not trying to get this result. But to your point, does that mean a devotee doesn't care about anything? No, he cares. See, Krishna is very nice, right? Krishna wants devotees to dress properly. So what is our goal there? Krishna dresses properly, so we should dress properly. You're getting how it is working? It's working the other way. Whereas right now, we dress properly and then maybe Krishna should dress nicely. Are you getting how it works? Currently, our current state is the other way. Right? So this is the beginning of Bhagavad Gita that, okay, you're doing something, offer it to Krishna. But from the last half, from 13 onwards, Krishna is flipping the whole thing. He says, no, you should think of Krishna and then look at the material manifestation. So that's the result. So you are right. Prayojana is there. The result, the goal. Prayojana means goal. The goal is Krishna. All right, Vaishnavas, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.